I've been working in advertising and sales for as long as I can remember. So for the past 10 years, I've always had a number above my head that has told me exactly how relevant or how worthy I am to the companies that I work for. I am here to tell you, because I've told thousands of countless mentors this, maybe not thousands, hundreds of countless mentors this, you are not your number. Let's have a little chat time. I've been playing for 2.5 years. I started probably somewhere around 22, 24, 25. I can't remember. I don't even think I kept a handicap. And since then, I've tried to get better. I remember writing an article that's on my website. I was at a 19. Almost a year to the date, I'm currently sitting at somewhere around a 13-ish. I could really care less about exactly where I'm at as far as on the handicap scale because, again, it's just a number. I think what most people aren't realizing or what most people aren't thinking about is A, why the handicap system was invented, and B, what it accurately reflects.
Good morning.
Whoa. You know it's going to be a great tee shot when you didn't even put your glove on. Now, I got absolutely no green to work with. Morning, bogey, same result. So if you think about it, a handicap system is designed to demonstrate a golfer's best ability, and the key word there is best ability, and it's really a system that's designed so that you can compete with other golfers and everybody can play the same sport and still have a way to calculate an even level playing field. It wasn't designed so that you post a score and then feel bad about the standard that you've played to because it's not up to your handicap. Like, it's your best ability. You're only going to play to that ability maybe 25% of the time. That shot went absolutely dead straight. Just wanted to see where my feet were aiming. And we're back. It's only really giving you an accurate representation of the skill you could play to. And if you're a golfer like me that's constantly practicing, that's constantly trying new things on the course, constantly at it every single day, it's going to fluctuate. And that doesn't bother me because I'm consistently working on it every single day. So there's going to be fluctuations and there's going to be wild deviations until everything gets back to some kind of like normal area where it can work at. You are not your handicap. When you create your self-worth based off of an average or a statistical number, you're going to have a pretty darn hard time getting yourself mentally wrapped around this game. Your average is going to be a representation of the individual things you do during that time period. And we're talking about a game that's learned over years, and your handicap adjusts and updates, every 15 days? It's such a small fraction of time to really be judging yourself off of. I'm going to use this time to obviously call this a perfect example. I am playing like absolute crap this morning. Everything's leaking. I ate my Cliff Bar, but it doesn't seem to have really filled me up. My tummy's grumbling. Like, right now I'm probably playing to the least of my abilities, which is okay. I expect it to happen, but I'm managing what's going on and I'm getting myself prepared for the reality and the eventuality that this is how I'm going to be feeling one day when I'm out playing in a tournament or a competition. Like, this is part of golf. You can't always be at your 100% best. You are not your number, and you should not let your handicap dictate how you feel about your performance on a day-to-day basis. Your handicap is an average of all your skills. It's not a reflection of how well you drive the ball or how well you chip the ball or how well you do the thousands of other things that are required for you to be a good golfer. It's 137 to the flag. Grab another 9-iron. You just saw that right now. I hit 2 absolutely horrific shots and still had to rely on my other skills of chipping and putting. I know I do those well. I knew I would be able to at least get up and down or possibly a bogey at worst. Bogey golf is totally acceptable. I'm a 13 handicapper. I'm going to make bad shots. The handicap system allows for this because they know golf is so hard. They know that you're going to have, ups and downs. You don't measure yourself based off of your handicap, but that you look at other areas of your game, like your chipping, your driving, your approach, your wedges, your scrambling greenside. These are stats that should be relevant to you and that if you're tracking on a day-to-day basis can show some improvement, and that's where you find your value and how good your game is getting. Sometimes, even if you're playing it out, you still can't execute. That's golf. That's all. Sorry I got so quiet on you guys there as far as going on my points, but that was just exactly what I'm talking about. I am not my handicap. You are not your handicap. You just watched me bogey 1, 2, 3, 6 holes straight, fighting through to get a par. I didn't adjust my strategy. I didn't try to change any different swing thoughts. I just trusted that the skills that I have would ultimately get me to a goal that I was looking for, which is being able to make pars and get into a scoring position. There's so many facets of your golf game that are more important for you to be happy about. How good is your putting? How consistent is your driving? How good are you off the tee box? What about your 200-yard shot? What about your 150 approach shot? What about your wedge game? What about your greenside bunker play? Like, these are so many things for you to focus on and look at on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis and track and monitor other than a handicap. It's just a number. I don't need to be worried about protecting a handicap. Today is a below average day. I'm not going to change anything. I'm not going to freak out. I'm not going to feel bad. I'm focusing on the goal at hand, which is hitting greens, working with what I got. As long as I continue doing that, as you see on the 7th hole, is that 7? On the 6th hole, I was able to make a par. That felt good. And I'm back. Sorry I didn't get a chance to say goodbye and get that last hole. I had to head home as nature called. I also did end up parring it 3-wood, 9-iron, 2 putts on the green. When I first started golfing, I got so caught up in this handicap system, even though I didn't even really understand what this system was for and how it works. And it's used to calculate a net score when you're playing in stroke play competitions. Like, that's it. We are not professionals. So we need a system to calculate our potential best ability. It's simply a tool to help tournaments be more open to different levels of golfers. And I think that's an amazing thing. There are some situations in tournaments where you need to have a low enough handicap to play. It's there because those state qualifiers eventually go on to play in the mid-ams. And those mid-ams can qualify to play in professional events. And since those professional events aren't going to be net scores, you're playing against pro golfers. I can't imagine you'd want to be someone in my position that's, a 13 handicap playing against a professional. That on a professional level course from professional level distances, that wouldn't be fun for anybody.
Good player.
How about that, Rich? 7 handicap.
At Wingfoot.
Not an easy golf course. Might be going a little right.
Oaks.
Hello, Beach.
Today, I was very happy with my round, despite the fact that my putting wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be. My iron play wasn't exactly where I wanted it to be, but that happens. You know, it's 4:55 a.m. in the morning, so I expect that to happen. I've been really working at my chipping and trying to get up and down within, one putt. And today that was exactly what happened. And I'm actually glad that I was missing a lot of greens because that gave me a really good opportunity to test that skill. I talk to a lot of my friends that are handicap golfers and are very, very, very frustrated when they don't play to their handicap. I have a buddy of mine that just recently got down to 8.7. And I've watched him go from a low teen handicapper to an 8.7, and I have literally watched his enjoyment of the game just disappear. He takes it so hard on himself because he has this number and this stigma attached to it that he's a single-digit handicapper, so therefore he must always perform to such a high degree. If he's not scoring in the 70s, he's upset. And I've watched golf become a very, very tedious chore for him. Like, he's seeing less enjoyment in it. The thing that I take away from it after watching him improve is seeing how much incredible skill and talent he has. I've watched him do things that have demonstrated to me he has all of the ingredients to become an elite level amateur, without a doubt. Like, he can drive the ball 270 yards. He has great control of long irons, 4 irons, 5 irons, hitting them in excess of 200 yards accurately. And these are things that professional golfers struggle to do. I look at those components of his game and I'm like, man, I want to get there. But comparing his skills to that of a pro, which is what I think we're doing relative to our handicap. You're saying, hey, if a pro's in the plus handicap, like a +5, +6, +7, and I'm an 8, I should be doing things that they do. No, you're an 8 handicapper because you have very good control of your game. You have very good control of your skill set. The only thing that a lower handicap indicates, the variance and deviation of your scores are likely to be closer in margin. So I could understand if you were an 8 handicap and you shot in the 100s, like that would be a little bit disappointing because that deviation is very far off from the norm, but that's extremely unlikely to happen. And even if it did happen, it'd just be a bad golf day. That's it. Rory McIlroy shot an 82 at the Masters, an 82.
The left miss, it was there from the start. You talk about the 4-under finish by Schwartzel.
You can have one of those days. Like, that's just golf. You're going to have averages. Keep at it because eventually you're going to fine tune and you're going to hone those individual skill sets to make that end number eventually get to where you want to be. If I make the sum of all the parts slightly better, the whole will naturally become better. I've went from a 19 to a 13. I'm trending towards a 12 handicap, and I could not care less. The game is already hard enough. I can't be adding additional levels of insanity by attaching my self-worth to some number that really doesn't mean anything. It will be relevant when it becomes time for us to compete and go into tournaments, but right now it is not an important factor to my overall feeling of how good I'm doing and my overall game performance. I've got loads of great tools like Arcos, and then I look back at my recaps of my rounds, and I've got my golf practice journal. All of those things are important to me. Those are the things that are showing that I'm getting better. And yes, as a result, my handicap is dropping. You are not your number. That's all I got for you. Deuces. Let's keep it moving. No, he's gonna walk around in the middle of a course. Like, he's literally walking on the green. Like, not next to the green, like literally on the green. I am not having a good golf morning by any measurable stretch of the imagination.